You got 300 words per minute, approximately, inside your head that you need to do something with. You have 150 words per minute that are listening to and comprehending the actual words. But you've got 450 words total you can use for this process. So what are you going to do with that 300 words per minute? So the first thing you're going to do is get rid of your cell phone. Turn it off, put it on airplane, put it in another room, close your computer, get rid of the movie that's going. If the person you really care about is going to feel like you're listening, that's the bare minimum. Get rid of all of those screen distractions. So then the second thing is, instead of using those words in your head to be just thinking of random thoughts, you can start to bring your focus into more than just the words themselves. You can use this additional huge brain you've got and start noticing, actively bringing your focus to what the other person is communicating, because as we also learned in the last video, the words are only 7%. The voice is more, the tone of voice, the speed of the voice, the hesitancy in the voice, the volume of the voice, all kinds of things. So notice her voice or his voice and see how that's registering in you. Does it seem congruent with the words? And if not, then probably they're not ready or haven't gotten to the words that would express all of that. And you can just notice that and be patient. And then also the other part, the huge part, the 55% of the communication is in body language. That includes facial expression. Is this person all hunched up? Are their shoulders down and back? Is their head tilted forward? Do they have their arms crossed? And just notice all the body language that is going on and see how that registers with you. And it's not in a judgmental way. It's simply to be getting and registering more information. So the words in your head might be, he looks really tight, and he's not talking about what's making him tight. He's not ready, or he doesn't know. And so all those facial expressions, sometimes people register sadness with this just slight glistening in their eyes because they start to tear up. They may not even be noticing that. And you don't have to point it out. You can just notice, oh, they might be pretty sad, or they might be sad and not even know it. Because our bodies often convey things that we're not consciously aware of. And so you notice all of those things. You use that 300 words per minute to notice a much fuller thing that is being communicated. But the other thing that's going on with those 300 words per minute, they're going to actually be focused not on the other person, but on yourself. With things like, what can I say? What do they need from me? Am I enough? Is just listening really enough? It's assumed that just listening is so passive that it's insignificant. And if we're feeling insignificant, because it's really not focus on the other, it's focus on feeling and questioning, am I adequate? Am I enough? Will I be seen? Will I be competent to this situation? If this is somebody you really care about and they seem to be in a lot of distress, the question will be, how can I help? How can I help fix this situation? How can I help them think about it? How can I give them my thoughts so that I don't have to feel inadequate or stupid by just sitting here and listening? Like, there's an assumption that we're supposed to have answers for people. We're supposed to figure it out. Somebody's in distress, we're supposed to fix it for them. Whether it's, I should fix this or I need to fix this, there's a deeper level to that desire to be helpful. And rather than acting that out and having a bunch of one's attention on how am I going to fix this and how am I going to fix it fast, to notice that and then bracket. When I say bracket, what I'm talking about is first noticing I'm focused on this thing rather than on this other person. This thing, how will I respond? So the first thing to do is to notice that set of thoughts. Am I enough? Can I come up with the right answer? Can I alleviate the problem here? Can I get this person to feel better? That's all about oneself. It looks like it's about the other person, but it's actually about oneself, about one's own discomfort. And there may be more to explore about that. But for the moment, we need to bracket that so that we can bring our focus back to giving this person our full regard, our full attention, to actually attend to what they're saying and how they're feeling and what they're thinking about their situation, and not be siphoning that off in our own likely anxiety or sense of inadequacy or shame or other feelings of discomfort that are really ours. So bracketing is first noticing. And then what I often do is I consciously put some focus on my breath and relax and remind myself mostly 90% of what they need is my positive regard, that I care enough to keep focusing on what are they saying and how are they feeling and what more might they need to say, and how can I show up in a way that really conveys it's safe, it's okay to talk with me about this, I'm not going to judge. And to do that mostly silently with one's own focus and body language and facial expression. So the more I can relax and simply listen with compassion, with understanding, also with trust that mostly like 95%, 99% of what's going to help is that I give them positive regard. I convey to them that I believe in them. I believe they're strong enough to get through whatever is difficult that they're talking about, or they're worthy enough to be delighted and celebrating a success that they have, or that they're smart enough, if there's something that needs to be figured out, they'll either ask for help from me or somebody else if they don't know what to do and there's some concrete steps that could be taken, that they're smart enough and good enough to ask for some help. And if they need help asking for help, then we can offer help at some point. But for now, giving them the positive regard and reflecting the message that we believe in them and their ability to figure things out. Their ability with love and support and regard, that we regard them well. So this doesn't work in all listening situations. When there's conflict, it may be very difficult to get in touch with one's regard for the other. But that's another video. This is about just simply listening as a supportive, loving, caring friend, partner, spouse, family member. So finding one's regard and expressing that regard by bracketing all of the chatter that's going on in us, putting it aside, and then bringing the focus back to what we notice, what we're hearing, what the words are, and how all of that is touching our own hearts, perhaps in a good way, to be connected. So the homework is to notice again, but get deeper into really practicing now that you know you've got 300 words a minute, practicing focusing on the other, not just the words, the tone, the speed, the hesitancy in somebody's voice, their facial expressions, and how they're holding their bodies. And being open to what more is being communicated through those things than just their words, so that we get a fuller and fuller whole communication from them. And secondly, to notice and bracket when we get focused on ourselves again. Lots of meditation teachers teach really powerful meditative practices which are not designed to make us perfect, but to simply notice, oh, my mind is back on myself again. Okay, bring it back, bracket that stuff. And then I'll add one more little trick, which you kind of have to explain to somebody you're listening to. And that is, it can be really helpful to have a pad of paper and a pen, and to even say, hang on a second, I've got a distracting thought going on. I just want to write it down so I can clear my mind again and come back to you. And some of those distracting thoughts can be really helpful to write down, like, oh, I think I feel inadequate. Oh, I want to fix it right now. Oh, I really don't like it when people are crying. And so to notice all of that stuff and write it down so that you can physically bracket it onto a piece of paper and then come back, and later on taking that list of things that keeps happening with several hundred words a minute inside your head, that's not about the listening to the other person, it's about oneself. And there's no shame in that. That's just how it is. It's fine, and it gets in the way. So we need to learn how to train ourselves and our brains to keep coming back and focusing on the other.